All right, week 4 college football breakdown here. Moving on to Saturday. Early kick in Ames, Iowa. We got Baylor traveling to take on the Cyclones of Iowa State. Saw this line open up around a pick. Move towards the Cyclones a little bit. Seeing 2.5s right now. Total has stayed pretty steady. Seeing 45, pretty consensus right now too. I am not a big teaser guy. I want to start off with that. A lot of people say never tease college football. I disagree. I don't think you can make big generalizations like that. I don't think you spray the board with teasers because it is a higher variance sport than the NFL. That being said, I teased this total up to 52.5 because I do think we're crossing several key numbers. This is a low variance game, and I do think it does stay lower scoring. It's a 2-leg teaser. Arkansas is the other play, but I did feel like teasing this total up was the best way to play this game. Both Hunter Deckers and Blake Shapen, both the quarterbacks here, might be high efficient guys. Both these guys might complete around 70% of their passes this year. But I don't really view either as a huge threat down the field. I mean, Blake Shapen was right around 7 yards per attempt last year. Against BYU, he was under 5 yards per attempt. I think that's a pretty accurate representation of what he is. I think he can dink and dunk and do all that, but Baylor lost a lot at that wide receiver position, and they've struggled to really. And granted, BYU is their only real test to this point. So I don't really care about what they do against Albany and Texas State. I have concerns about this team's ability to strike deep, and I do think Iowa State presents a pretty good matchup defensively. Baylor also lost Abram Smith off of last year's team. I mean, he was over 6 yards a carry. Baylor struggled to find that same explosiveness out of the running game. A big injury for Baylor too. Ben Sims, their tight end. I just mentioned kind of the relative unknowns in that wide receiving room. Ben Sims is a really big part of this offense, a big safety net at tight end. He helps out with the offensive line and blocking. Right now it seems as if he's not going to play with a head injury. So that hurts as well. With that being said, I love Baylor's defense. Baylor's defense is fantastic. They returned their entire front four on that side of the ball, and they totally mauled teams a year ago. They obviously won the Big 12. They mauled Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl. They took some of the best running backs in the Big 12 and made them look like mediocre football players. With Iowa State, with all the guys they lost off of this past year's team, Brock Purdy, Breece Hall, Charlie Kohler, Mike Rose, none of those guys is bigger than Breece Hall. I mean, Breece Hall is obviously the first running back taken off the board in this past draft. To say Jabril Brock is a massive step down from Breece Hall would be the understatement of the year. So I have a tough time seeing Iowa State establish any sort of run game. I think Hunter Decker is very similar to Shapen. He's good in that short intermediate range, but I have a hard time seeing this Iowa State offense create too many explosive plays. I think pace will be on our side in this one too. Baylor specifically is a very slow-paced team. And do think Iowa State, their pace numbers are somewhat inflated given how they approach those games against Southeast Missouri State and Ohio, but I expect them to be a pretty slow-paced team as well. So this should remain a lower-scoring game. And, this game is low variance enough to where I did feel good teasing this up 7 points to 52.5. I'm not saying I endorse that all the time, but there are people who just say never tease college football. Well, it's certain types of matchups you shouldn't tease. This is not one of them. So I would love 7 points here on the totals, and that's what I did do with this game. As far as the side, I'm kind of in wait and see mode on Iowa State. We'll see how Decker settles in. Still a very inexperienced quarterback. I was actually somewhat impressed of what he did against Iowa. His numbers didn't look great, but led that game-winning drive. I do love Matt Campbell, though. This is a really good coaching matchup between Dave Aranda and Matt Campbell. Didn't really want to even explore the side here. Do feel good about this being a lower scoring game and staying under 50 points. So I teased this one up to 52.5. Should be a great game down to the wire. Don't have a great feel on the side, but should be a lower scoring game. Appreciate y'all watching the video. If you like what you heard today, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and don't miss any of the upcoming content. Comment your best look on this game down below. Side, total. If you're not a betting guy, just a prediction. Comment your best look on this game down below. You see this shirt right here. I know you've been staring at it the whole time. Go to proud90.com. Unique but very comfortable polos as well. Also got t-shirts, hoodies, quarter zips. Proud 90's got all your golf apparel needs. If you see anything you like at checkout, use code Fordham. It's going to get you 15% off your entire order. Support me. Support Proud 90. Proud90.com.